Good morning, WiCyS. I am Jen Easterly, the director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, known as CISA. Now, unlike CISA, the Grammy Award-winning writer of Snooze, we are America's cyber defense agency. Our mission requires us to rely on partnerships across the public and private sectors and with incredible nonprofit organizations like WiCyS. It's been a real joy to work with Lynn Dome and Michelle Tomasic, two inspiring leaders dedicated to connecting and furthering women in cybersecurity. And I'm so inspired by WiCyS's mission to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity to build a robust and diverse cybersecurity workforce. These are just 15 words, but they aspire to a culture change that can no longer be delayed. And all of you are here making sure that it happens now. As you all know, it was here in Nashville 10 years ago that the first WiCyS conference was held, thanks to a trailblazing woman with a vision, Dr. Ambereen Siraj. But do you know what else happened in this amazing city 10 years ago, involving another determined and forceful woman? Yes, Taylor Swift released her seminal album, 1989, and I think it serves as an amazing soundtrack for WiCyS's evolution over the past 10 years. With 1989, Taylor caused disruption, completely changing genres and adopting a new sound, and that was something artists were encouraged not to do. But this risk led to the best-selling album of 2014, and it launched her into global stardom. WiCyS has done something very similar. In 2014, WiCyS had a blank space to chart a path to the future of cyber that celebrates diversity of gender identity, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and background to strengthen our collective defense and make us all better problem solvers. Now, as you navigate the conference this week, I encourage you to embrace your 1989 era WiCyS version. Taylor Swift has not let herself be defined by genre, and we too cannot afford to be confined by borders constructed to limit new ways of thinking. As future leaders in cyber, you need to break the mold. Being curious never goes out of style. Some of you will have the most amazing idea to solve the problems that we haven't even thought of yet, but it's probably going to take a few attempts to figure it out. So don't be afraid of failure. Just shake it off and keep on trying. As a cadet at West Point, never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined leading the nation's cyber defense agency. I was often in rooms where I was the only woman among people who didn't think a woman could or should be there. But through commitment and resilience and relentless optimism, I took those seats at the table, and now I make it a point to create them for other women. Today, women pursue degrees in cybersecurity at higher rates and hold more leadership positions in the field, as we see with the insanely talented lineup of speakers here at WiCyS this year. But are we out of the woods yet? No, we still have a ways to go. 2 years ago at WiCyS, I set a challenge for women to comprise 50% of the global cyber workforce by 2030. Now, we're at about 25% right now, and at CISA, we're at 38%. So we have our work cut out for us. It's on us to show cyberspace how you get the girl. So to all the bright and passionate women who've traveled from around the country to be part of this challenge, welcome to Nashville. It's been waiting for you. I'm proud to introduce one of CISA's pioneering women, Lisa Einstein, my senior advisor for artificial intelligence and our executive director of CISA's Cybersecurity Advisory Committee. And like me, she is also a Starbucks lover. Lisa was the first person to earn dual master's degrees in cyber policy and security and artificial intelligence at Stanford. An incredible advocate for women in STEM, she taught physics in West Africa to over 600 students while in the Peace Corps, using music to inspire girls to pursue math and science. But before I welcome Lisa to the stage, I want to wish WiCyS a huge 10th birthday, CISA style.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear WiCyS. Happy birthday to you.
Please welcome Lisa Einstein.
I promised the tech people I wouldn't dance too hard for my microphone. There it goes. Okay. Wow. How awesome are my colleagues at CISA? I gotta say, there are so many amazing women at CISA. And geez, this is amazing. There are so many amazing women here. Good morning, WiCyS. Hello. So as Jen mentioned, I have been working a lot on AI this year. Maybe some of you have heard of it. And I've been working so much on it that sometimes when I run into new people at work, they run up to me and they say, I know you, you're the AI. I'm not an AI, I'm a human. But I've been thinking a lot lately about what it would be like if I was an AI, being given so many new jobs and put under so much scrutiny. And thinking about how I would execute a task like a good AI system has genuinely been helping me become a better leader. It turns out there's actually a lot we can learn about human leadership from the work that we're doing to make AI safe, secure, and trustworthy. But let's go back a second. Does anyone here know what CISA stands for? Just shout it out. Amazing, wow, rock on. This is an amazing room. Yes, it stands for the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. We love security so much, we put it in the name twice. And we have a key role in ensuring the safety, and you guessed it, the security of AI systems. We at CISA are laser focused on reducing risk to the critical infrastructure that we all rely on every hour of every day. But what's infrastructure? So I'll give you some examples. Yesterday after work, I went to fill up my car with gas at the gas station. I swiped my credit card to pay. I hopped in the car and used Google Maps to get home. I turned on the light when I walked in. I went straight to the sink and I got a big glass of water. These are the critical functions that underpin our everyday lives. And introducing AI into the operation and maintenance of these tools could go great. And it could also introduce some new risks. And people are only going to use those tools if they can earn and maintain the trust of all of the people who are impacted by them. But what the heck does it mean for AI to earn and maintain trust? And what does it mean for any of us as human leaders? So luckily for you, the US government has thought about this a lot. And NIST at the Department of Commerce has developed something called the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. And it lays out these essential building blocks of trustworthy AI. And I have been combing through these building blocks for my work. There are things like transparency, accountability, fairness, and thinking, man, humans really aren't all that good at this stuff. So today, I want to talk about how we can improve AI by improving ourselves, and how it can make us better leaders and better human beings. I'll start with the first building block of trustworthy AI that is so important for human leadership: transparency. Transparency lets us into what a system is doing and what it should be doing. So this could be the data that an AI system is trained on, or the model that it uses for inference, or the overall accuracy of the system. Transparency is especially important when we don't have full information and we're seeking to improve the performance of a technology. Similarly, for human leaders, transparency can be a critical step towards self-improvement and growth. This could be as simple as including a couple extra people on a CC line, or letting people sit in on a meeting who are going to be impacted by the decisions made in that meeting. Transparency gives us insight into how leaders are thinking and gives us the context we need to succeed. One leader I admire did a great job at this. He asked his team for a recommendation, and they came back to him with something that he actually thought was not the right thing to do. But rather than just plowing ahead or just going along to get along with them, he wrote them a long email. And he laid out his thinking. He said, these are my goals for the organization, and this is why I think that actually what you recommended is not going to take us there. And we're going to go forward in the following way, but I want you to keep speaking up and letting me know your opinion. So once we have insight onto how a leader's thinking or how this AI system is operating, how do we know if it's actually doing what it's supposed to do? And who is responsible if it doesn't? This brings me to the second building block of trustworthy AI that is so important as a human leader: accountability. In the context of an AI system, this means we have insight on what an AI system should be doing, and that the people and organizations hold themselves accountable for the risks and harms of the AI systems that they deploy. This quality is so important in human leaders, and it actually really starts with accountability to ourselves. The little things really add up, from showing up when you say you will, to following through on a task by that date that you said. Recently, my amazing intern Divjot demonstrated transparency and accountability beautifully. He ran up to my office and he said, Lisa, I didn't finish the task we discussed because another priority came up for the agency. Here's my plan for following through on both. Now, you might think I was disappointed in him because he didn't do what we had discussed. But I was actually super proud because he wasn't only transparent, but he was also accountable. And I said to him, way to be an accountable AI. The sooner, even at early stages in your career, you can start taking ownership for your actions and following through on the things you say you will, the more it will inspire people to give you greater and greater responsibility. But at CISA, we know internal accountability only goes so far. And that's why our Chief People Officer, an amazing woman, Elizabeth Kolmstetter, has instituted 360 feedback for all managers at our agency. This means you get feedback from up high, down low, side to side, so your peers, your direct supervisors, the people who report to you. And it gives us insight onto whether we are doing what we should be doing, just like a trustworthy AI system. I just went through this process of 360 feedback, and it was super helpful because people were very honest. And I gotta say, it's also uncomfortable. It's awkward to learn about things that we think we might be doing well, but actually could keep improving on. But as I was sitting in the discomfort, I thought to myself, be a good AI system, Lisa. Just learn from the data. The third building block that I want to talk about is that AI systems are designed to be fair. In the AI context, this means accounting for harmful bias and discrimination. And for AI, this is so important because it is well documented that AI systems can have different consequences for people of different races and sexes, automating, amplifying, and perpetuating inequality, and even treating some groups like they don't exist. We, as humans, can look at ourselves and think about how we may be perpetuating inequality, and sometimes play a small part in correcting it. Seemingly small interventions to unfair actions can have a chain reaction. When I was serving in the Peace Corps as a physics teacher, I experienced this firsthand. One day after class, one of my really bright 7th graders asked to talk to me. She pulled me aside, and she timidly said, "Madame, I'm not going to be able to return to 8th grade because my father wants to marry me off this summer." For context, this is a super common story in Guinea, and as a result, my 7th grade class had over 100 girls, and my 10th grade class had just 10. She said she really wanted to stay in school, and she asked me if I had any advice. Now, she felt comfortable opening up to me because I was a female teacher, but I knew it wasn't my place to intervene. I was, however, able to talk to her principal. The principal was a well-respected male figure in the community and a great advocate for girls at the school. And he was able to speak in local language to her family and convince her to continue her studies. And continue she did. Not only that, she started an organization to support other young girls and boys to advocate for their right to stay in school, amplifying fairness and equality in her community. Yes, yeah. Okay, so we can be transparent, accountable, fair, but what about when the inevitable crisis hits? This final quality of trustworthy AI that is so important for human leadership and has really taught me the most is resilience. In the context of AI, this means that an AI system can withstand unexpected adverse events or changes in its environment or use. We at CISA prioritize resilience because we recognize that in a highly connected world that's underpinned by a technology backbone that is not yet secure by design, preventing all disruption is just completely unrealistic. So rather than preventing all of it, we just have to be prepared to react when crisis hits and maintain continuity of operations. All of us will face disruption in life. Adversity is not a question of if, but when. I learned this when I was 17. Without warning, my best friend, my dad, died suddenly of a heart attack. My dad was my source of resilience, and I had little concept of what it would mean to provide that for myself. Soon after, I started my physics degree, and I was one of only a handful of women in my program. And I loved my coursework, but I was really lost. I felt less prepared than my classmates, and honestly, I missed sharing learning, the good parts, and especially the hard parts, with my dad. One of those intro classes included some coding, and I was so lost. I had never seen anything like it before, and I remember when I got my first error message, I thought, that's it. I am never gonna be a coder. Sounds like some of you can relate to that. Oh man, I really struggled through the rest of that class and really through all of my coursework. I did graduate, but I left feeling really dumb. Something shifted for me when I started to teach physics. It was so obvious looking at my students who didn't know something that they just didn't have enough experience with it. I would watch them try and fail and try and not quite get it and try and, oh, not yet, I don't know. And then suddenly they just knew stuff. It was so cool. And I also noticed that when I repeated information in class by teaching lessons over and over, I actually got more familiar with the material. They taught me that learning is all about resilience. So when I returned to grad school, I decided to give coding another shot. And this time I knew myself and my internal sources of strength and continuity so much better. I knew, for example, that I am a better learner when I've worked out and slept. Seems super obvious now, but hey, college. I learned that when I teach my classmates, it actually helps me learn. They really liked that one. And I learned that trying and failing is genuinely a part of learning. I felt like a real coder the first time I was excited to get an error message because it was going to show me what I needed to fix. Who here is in a degree program right now? Just raise your hand. Oh man, okay, hang in there, guys. You got this. It's really hard. Okay, so we've gone over 4 building blocks today: transparency, accountability, fairness, resilience. But I want to leave you with one final parallel between AI and human leadership. AI is often criticized and held to a very high standard. People who are unfamiliar with it are looking for it to fail. That sounds awfully similar to how women in leadership roles have been treated throughout our history. And look, any person or system involved in making consequential decisions in people's lives should be held accountable and scrutinized. And sometimes we scrutinize ourselves the most. I am certainly guilty of that. I'm sure I'll be scrutinizing this speech next week. You guys know that I was just, sort of talking about women and AI. Was that joke okay? I don't know. I'm just saying that they're both put under a microscope. I'm not saying that it's the same as the struggles of women throughout history. Gosh. Anyway. Oh, and great, it's filmed. Okay. Hi, Lisa, in 30 years. I did my best. But we are learning to build AI systems that are transparent, accountable, fair, and resilient. And if we develop those qualities in ourselves, then when we are scrutinized, not if, but when, we will feel confident that we have developed habits and behaviors that are trustworthy. And the crazy thing is, the more that we embody these qualities, the more the AI systems we build will. This isn't just a metaphor. As many of you know, AI systems are trained on vast quantities of data, much of which is generated by humans, and some of them incorporate human feedback into their training. So AI learns from what we've done in the past and from what we're doing right now. And AI systems are deployed in the context of the systems and organizations and the people that shape them. Look, at CISA, we think a lot about risk. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Risk is actually all about possibility. The possibility to better protect small human rights organizations like Binta's by better automating aspects of their cyber defense. The possibility to connect with people from all around the world because our translation tools can support their less common languages. The possibility to more quickly diagnose and classify heart attacks, giving us more time with the people we love. Now, I don't know about you, but I am not going to accept those new technologies when I am swiping my credit card, drinking my water, or getting my health diagnoses if I can't count on the humans creating them to build them with trustworthiness as their top priority. This is a super exciting time, and you all here are at the forefront, and I am counting on you to shape it, not just by building trustworthy technology, but through your trustworthy human leadership. Thank you so much.